Good morning. Yes, it is morning. It is very early in the morning. It is around 5:15 and sun officially comes up at 5:39. So we got about 20 or 25 minutes or so. So I figure we'll do this very early morning walk. No set route. We'll just walk some streets for a while. Maybe we'll get down to the shore. It is a very foggy morning on the coast here of South Brooklyn, New York. Hope everyone's doing well. If you're wondering what the temperature is, it is a balmy 65. Humidity is at 100%, so it is a very muggy, misty morning. Let's take this street. This is Independence. Let's take Independence. Turn over here. So yes, it is dark right now, but it will continue to get lighter out as we go through this walk. We won't see much as far as people on the street, because people are just starting to wake up, I guess. Oh, this is a really dark street on the camera. We're under a lot of tree cover, that's why. You see, as we come out of the tree cover, it gets a little lighter. You hear all the birds waking up. All the birds are waking up and letting everybody know we're here. Feed us. I was just talking to a friend the other day. I was like, I got to start doing my early morning walks. I haven't done one of these walks in the longest time. And I'm not talking about on the camera for the channel. I'm talking about in general. Like, I used to go out and do these long morning walks throughout all of New York City, really. Right now we're in Brooklyn. We're in my neighborhood right now. We're actually leaving my neighborhood. And I said earlier, we're on Independence right now. Independence, and we are walking. We'll walk this back way through the driveways and the condos here, but we're walking over to, right now we're heading over to Shore Parkway. That's what's out here, and we'll walk down Shore Parkway. I guess we'll go down to 21st Avenue Park, and then maybe we'll get onto the ocean and walk back. Maybe we'll go through another park. Maybe we'll make this a really long walk. We'll see how long we go here. I do have my battery pack, so we can go for a while. All right, here we are. Get the nice sounds of the Belt Parkway to my right. It's moving really. It's always moving really well at this time. Not a lot of traffic. I'll give you guys a look. There you go. There's the traffic on the Parkway. So I was saying a little earlier, is 65, 100% humidity, very balmy, very foggy. We've had some rain for the last couple of days, and we'll have more of that today. We have a rain system that just stalled off the coast. There's a little bit of mist hitting me, so should be okay with the camera though. One thing about this camera can get pretty warm when it's operating, so any mist that hits the lens should immediately dry up, and as long as it doesn't rain too much, we should be fine. I don't have an umbrella with me. So this is Shore Parkway right here. You can see that fog in the headlights. This over here, I never really talk about this whenever we walk by this area, but if you've ever heard of Son of Sam, this is where he ended his run of terror. He shot his last two victims right here under the light pole. I'll show you in a second. Got somebody walking towards me. Oh, he's getting in the car. I gotta watch out this early in the morning. You never know who's walking up on you. This light pole right there across the street where that ambulance is. As a matter of fact, they were parked right under this light pole. They had gotten out of the car, walked through a park here. Apparently he was standing right there when they first walked through the park. They walked around the park here, came back, circled, got in the car, and he shot both of them. I believe. I'm not good with the names of all the people because it's, you know, I'm not really a big historian with that, but I do know that I believe the girlfriend died and the man survived. He had the bullet go through his eye or something, through his face. I'm sure somebody will correct me, but that's for sure happens right over here. You could actually find some pictures of the crime scene. I said the sun is coming up, so I will give you guys the official sun up time when it happens. I said it was 5:39. It is 5:30 right now. So got about 9 minutes. This is 18th Avenue right here. Pretty much all of the streets that we pass are terminated here at Shore Parkway. Down here in the Bath Beach section, you have Bay Streets and avenues. They are separated by two Bay Streets, the avenues. So, for instance, you have 18th Avenue. Speaking of, this is the most confusing part about people that come into this area. We just passed the park, right? So we hit Bay 16th, Bay 17th, then 18th Avenue, and this is right, Bay 19th. And the next street is Bay 20th, right? So people come in looking for 21st Avenue. I can tell you how many times I've had to give directions. But anyway, people walk in thinking that the next one after Bay 20th is 21st Avenue, and it's actually 19th Avenue. And they're like, they get turned around. They're like, whoa, I missed 21st. Because, you know, most people, they look at the number, they don't look at the street, and they assume it's an avenue or a street is a, you know, same as, you know, 21st Avenue or whatever. And but as I always say, I'm giving you guys useless information, I know, but the avenues down here are separated by two Bay Streets. My advice, I always tell people, unless you're going to a Bay Street, ignore them and just pay attention to the avenue intersections. So like I said, this right here is Bay 20th Street, and then the next one is 19th Avenue. So 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and then 19th Avenue. So confuses a lot of out of towners. Speaking of 19th Avenue, let's turn down here for a minute. Come on, I'm giving them the wave to come through. I don't compete with cars this early in the morning. You know, I don't want to step in front of 1 ton of engine block and get run over. So I usually yield way more in the morning, because as you can see, people are just in a hurry to get to work. We'll walk through some of these little side court streets. This right here is 19th Lane. It oddly sits between Shore Parkway and Cropsey, and then from 19th Avenue to I guess whatever you would call this, the street down here, but it's really 19th Lane. You got 20th Lane, I think, and 20th Court. We'll stay in the street. This block, when I was doing freelance photography for Hurricane Sandy, I've shown pictures on my live streams of all of the footage I took for Hurricane Sandy. But this block right here took a huge hit. There's a lot of damage on this block. I remember there was a lot of downed trees. Hard to imagine with all these other trees standing, but there were more trees on this block. There's one right here, used to be a big one. Looks like they replanted a new tree. By the way, the sun is officially up in 30 seconds. We could go out onto 20th Avenue this way, or we can go this way to this like little cul-de-sac type street. It's not really a cul-de-sac. And by the way, this is, I always get these confused, these streets down here. This is 20th Drive over here. So. I'll show you what I'm talking about in a second. It's not a cul-de-sac. It has like a cul-de-sac feel to it, but this street comes off of Cropsey, and it's got this big wide turn here. You can see what I'm talking about here. It's this big wide turn, this big angular crosswalk. And this right here becomes Bay 22nd Street, right here. You know what we'll do? I know we said we might go down by the water. We're going to change that. If you hear all that water falling, that's the excess precipitation falling off of the trees from all this fog. But like I said, we're gonna go back to the water. But I want to take a little detour here. So. I was gonna stay on Shore Parkway, but we're doing this just random. This is a random walk. No set itinerary like I always do. I always tell you where we are for the whole walk, and I'm not doing that this time. So what we'll do is we'll turn here onto Cropsey. It seems like the fog is getting thicker. I'm starting to feel it more. Well, it does get thick down here. So this is closer to, the heart of Gravesend Bay. So when that fog comes in over Coney Island and it just sits over Coney Island Creek, it just fills up in Gravesend Bay. So it tends sometimes to get more, the fog gets a little bit more thick down here. This right here is Bay 23rd. This is a dead-end street. It runs right up to where we just were on the other side. 20th Drive is on the other side of those homes on that dead end. I think we saw one person so far, and that was way back by the park at 17th Avenue when I was talking about Son of Sam. We haven't seen anybody since. We've seen some cars driving by. Yeah, there goes somebody going to work, looks like, across the street there. Got another person walking towards me. So now you're starting to see some people. Speaking of people and speaking of empty streets, I find, and I know people are going to disagree, but if you hear my chain of thought and also my experience, because I'm not just talking, this is something I have experience with and something I've done. I find it safer to walk around the streets of parts of New York than I do in the daytime. And my reasoning behind that, through my own experience, and well, I'll just say it, when you're outside in the middle of the day and you got a bunch of people out, a lot of people feel safe because there's, people everywhere, right? No one ever thinks anything's going to happen to them in a crowded street. There was a lady yesterday, it was on the news, that there was up in the Bronx, a guy tried to shoot her in the back of the head, right on a corner. It's actually on video at like 8 in the morning while everybody's going to work, So you just never know. Who's going to do something, or it's just so random during the day. In the morning when I'm walking, you can see a person coming, or you can kind of, especially at night, like 3, 4 in the morning, you can kind of blend in with the wall. There's not many people out on the streets at like 2, 3 in the morning. So it's very easy to pick people out, That's just my reason. And I'm not saying that it's like, set in stone, but I feel safer late at night because I can see it, pretty much everything around me much better. I mean, you go look down the whole street and see if somebody's out. Now, of course, people are like, well, there could be somebody hiding behind a car or something like that. Well, like I said, you know, during the middle of the day when everybody's out, people don't have to hide behind cars if they want to hurt you. They just come right up to you. It blends in with the crowd. Let me do a time check here. It is exactly 5:45. Well, 5:47 actually. I'll take you guys through this area here. I don't even know what they call this street. This is like a bleed-off street from 20th Avenue. I don't see any street signs. But this comes in off of 20th Avenue, and then you could walk back onto Shore Parkway over here, which is where we're going right now. We're going back onto Shore Parkway. Got somebody walking towards me, but they look like they're on their way to work or something. Traffic is definitely a little bit more busier than when we started. More and more people are out going to work. This right here is 21st Avenue. I am connecting the battery, so bear with me here. There we go. Don't need the battery. Battery's good on the camera, but I figure, you know what? We're at 60%, so let's charge it back up and then take it off and then keep going. This is what the park looks like in the morning. There is not one person in this park but me. I am the only person in this park right now. I don't see anybody else yet. I'm sure there might be somebody hiding out around here somewhere. Just can't see him. I just saw somebody in the playground area over there, moving around like Sasquatch. Look at this nice reflection. Speaking of Sasquatch, it looks like we're in backwoods here with this nice little flooded little lane. Look at that reflection. Let's get down low. We'll do like a photography kind of thing here. Look at that. Isn't that cool? There you go. I'm always thinking like a photographer, man. Can't help it. That guy I was telling you about, he's in there doing exercises. I don't know if you could see him in there. He's in all black. Looks like he's doing his morning routine. Which way do I go, man? I don't know where to go. Look at the this is the new apartment block over here, is obscured in the fog. Cannot see it. Alright, I'm going to take you guys down to the water. I say down to the water, people say the bay, the ocean. Oh, I know what we could do. I know exactly what we're gonna do. This will be pretty cool. Give you guys some history, some personal history. This down here is Ceasar's Bay. I get a lot of people that tell me, I always find it's funny when that's Ceasar's Bay and that used to be where that. Listen, I know. I worked here when I was a teenager. I worked in Ceasar's Bay Bazaar. And I remember all the things that used to be down here. So let's take you through the Ceasar's Bay parking lot and give you guys a rundown of the history here. Well, here's Wendy's. At one time it was a Roy Rogers. Why is it called Ceasar's Bay? Well, it was named after the guy who bought the whole area down here, the whole shopping center where Corvettes used to be. I can't think of his last name off the top of my head, but his name was Ceasar. Alright, we'll start with this building here. This building here, not too long ago either, right up until Sandy, because Sandy did a lot of damage to this building, this was a bank. This entire building was a bank. We used to skateboard over here. Oh, it looks like they closed down the vitamin shop. This is where the vitamin shop was. But the bank, this whole building here was the bank. And back in the day, they had like a little embankment here that we used to skateboard off of. It's no longer here. They put all this wheelchair friendly ramps and stairs and stuff. Looks like they got some charging outlets here for the Teslas. They've been putting them up here in the parking lots. That's what all that is right there. There's more over here to my left. I'll show you in a second. They still haven't unwrapped them. They're still in the, I guess, they're still going to be wiring them up and all that other stuff. But that's the other Tesla dock over there. Used to be some auto body shops where the Olive Garden is now, but the big one here, Best Buy, used to be wall bounds. People used to come down here and do food shopping back in the day. Best Buy's been here since 2001. I remember because I was here the first day it opened. I had just gotten out of the military, and I already knew what Best Buy was by that time because they were all over California. And back then they were great. I mean, I don't think they're great anymore, but I mean, when I heard that there was a Best Buy moving to New York right after I came back from California, I was like, oh yeah, I gotta go. But yes, this used to be the wall bombs, or whatever way you want to pronounce it. Long time ago. Take you around what used to be over here. We'll talk about Caesar's Bay in a second. Like I said, I used to work in there. So this area over here has kind of come back as like separate shops, but give you a little history. Back in the day, there was multiple shops. Like this is all one complex, but they can separate it out with the walls and stuff. It's really modular. So the pizza place has been here for a long time. I think Pizza D'Amore has been here. I don't know if it's always been called that, but the pizza place has been here since, I think it's the one original thing that's still here is the pizza. There's always been a pizza place here. Just don't know if it was always D'Amore. Teriyaki One is obviously newer. But then down the line you had Radio Shack, was right next to the pizza place, right where that big Five Below sign is. That's where Radio Shack used to be. And then there was another shop, I can't remember, I think it was like a lamp shop or a light shop, but then right next to that shop was More Fun. More Fun was an arcade place that I was always in. I mean, it was the big hangout. If you were into CB radios back in the 80s and 90s, this is where everyone would have, they would call them CB breaks. Everybody would meet over here. This is where More Fun would be, right here, right in this spot. Right up to the Five Below wall. And then you had this whole big spot over here was Trader Horn, which was one of the big competitors to like PC Rich's and the Wiz back in the day. If you remember the Wiz, PC Rich's is still around. They sell beds now. But yeah, Trader Horn used to be over here. It's where I bought my Sega Genesis. Right here. What used to be Trader Horn. And then over here. So there were multiple things here, right? So you had Caesar's Bay, which was right here. And next to Caesar's Bay, you had. So the way it worked was here. Let's talk about this here. So when you walk into this building, it's really still the same. I mean, even the escalator is still in the same spot. But basically, you had two places you could walk in. You could walk in over here, or you could walk in where that. If you see that like cutout over there, that was another way to walk in. That area over there, that entrance we're gonna walk by in a second. That would lead you upstairs into NBO, which became Men's Warehouse, and also Chuck E. Cheese used to be. And then upstairs was just a big food court. Okay. But you had Caesar's Bay that went all the way down. This is right after Corvettes. And then you had Toys R Us over there. I used to work in Caesars Bay. I would come here in the summer. You'd walk in, like all of the aisles and the lanes were set up like streets. You'd walk into the lobby, you'd find what street, cross street inside the flea market you wanted to go buy something, if there was a certain store you were looking for. I remember the skate shop was always in the first. It was in the first lane, all the way in the back in the corner. It was the easiest one to get to. Like I said, over here you would walk up to go up to NBO and Chuck E. Cheese's, and then you could go into the food court in Caesars Bay and go back the other way. Eventually what happened was Kids R Us came in here, which then eventually became Babies R Us, and Toys R Us was here. And if I didn't mention, Kohl's wasn't always here. It was Kmart for a while, and then Kohl's came afterwards. Like I said, Kids R Us became Babies R Us. And then back here you could go fishing back in the day, but when Kohl's moved in, they closed it all down. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about here when we get out back onto the street here on Bay Parkway. Right back there you could go, there used to be a fishing area. I have pictures of being back there too. I have a lot of pictures from back there. I knew they were going to close it down, so I took a lot of pictures because I didn't want to forget it. But you would go back here and go fishing along the back of the buildings here. So this is where, right here. If you look further down there, you see that black gate. That's what blocks you now from going to the back of this place. There is one lonely sailboat out there. I don't know if you guys can see it. Out there in the fog. Can you see that out there? There's a guy over here fishing. You see more and more people are waking up. And if I didn't mention it, this is Bay Parkway. Let's keep going. This is my backyard here. I call this my backyard. I've been on this bike path since the 1980s as a kid. If there's one thing I know for sure, it's this bike path and everything about it. Where we're standing right now at one time was just all beach land that went all the way back down to where Cropsey Avenue is now. There was a lot of docks down here and port businesses up until they built the parkway back in the 1930s. I think the Queen Mary just went under the Verrazano. I heard the horn blow. It's got the most distinct horn of all the ships that come through here every once in a while. One day I'll take you guys on a walk for the entire 4.5 mile length of this bike path. Maybe we'll do it next week. I'll get up really early and do it. But like I just mentioned, this bike path is 4.5 miles long. Originally it was going to be 5 miles long, but the water treatment plant all the way on the other end took up that property. When you get down to 69th Street Pier and you hit that water treatment plant, originally it was going to take you into Sunset Park, but they put the water treatment plant there and that changed everything. So the bike path is 4.5 miles long from Caesar's Bay all the way down to the 69th Street Pier, and it just worked out once they shortened it from 5 miles down to 4.5. It just worked out that the Verrazano Bridge is your halfway mark. So if you didn't know that, there you go. So whichever end you start on, whether you start on the 69th Street side or the Caesar's Bay side, when you hit the bridge, that is the halfway mark. There's 2.25 miles. And another little fun fact, when I used to do Justin TV, this is where I did my first live walk. Before there was anything like encoders and stuff, we had to carry big ass laptops on our backpacks with batteries and cut a hole in the backpack so the laptop wouldn't overheat, and actually hold a webcam in your hand with a Verizon Air card connected to the laptop. I still have that video. In that video, I walked the bike path to the 17th Avenue overpass and then down to my house. I literally walk into my old apartment on that on that live stream, because back then no one cared about being doxxed or anything like that. It was a less dangerous world back then. The good old Justin TV days. There were 3 guys. It was me, this guy Frank, and this guy Steve, and I would say we were the first 3 IRL walkers before it was even a thing. Nobody thought, I mean, who would have thought that people were going to do this on YouTube years later? As a matter of fact, I think YouTube was just born back then when we were doing it. YouTube was just starting out as a little fad site, a little, new fad that, became this big thing that we're on right now. We will definitely be walking longer than an hour on this one. This might be one of the longer walks that I've done in a long time. I think we will get off. Well, we have no choice but to get off all the way down at Bay 8th Street, back in my neighborhood. It's actually back where I live. And then when we get over there, we'll figure out where we're going. See all these fishermen out early. If you've seen some of my shorts, I generally get lucky and I'm in the right spot when somebody catches something. I don't think he caught anything. I think he's just trying to pull it up. Well, let's see. Let's see what's going on here. No, he didn't get anything. See? You'll generally know if a fisherman has caught something when you see like the fishing rod looks like it's bent 180 and it's like jiggling around because the fish is fighting to get off. That's when you know. I'll give you guys a time check. Let's see what time it is now. It is 6:15 in the morning. 6:15 a.m. Visibility looks like about I'd say about a mile. Nah, half a mile. It's really not that bad. The fog there's no wind. A little breeze right now. I'll be honest, this is normally a walk I would not take the camera with me. Generally, I don't take cameras when I go on my personal walks like this, but I was like, yeah, I'll take you guys along this time. Now, these trees have really gotten big. I mean, I remember when they planted these trees. You know what? Going back to what I said earlier, my first walk-in live stream on Justin TV, they had just planted these trees. So I got a video of a lot of these trees being tiny. I want to say 2007 is when they planted them. So they're almost 20 years old, about 18 years old, these trees. We're coming up on 17th Avenue. They are still building this new overpass, which is just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous how long it's taken to build this thing. I mean, it's honestly, it's embarrassing. And I'm not throwing any shade at the construction workers. They have nothing really. I'm pretty sure, you know, the construction workers come, they do what they got to do, you know. But the planning, whoever's in charge of the schedule and the speed of this stuff, I mean, it's really a joke. I mean, it's been years now. If you're still with us and you stay tuned, I'll take you guys up the new Bay 8th Street entrance that opens up a while back. Show you guys what it looks like over there. Honestly, that's another debacle. I mean, it looks nice, but the traffic pattern they put up there is not good. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about when I get up there, but here is the one side of the overpass. They just took the casting off of this. They poured the concrete for this a while back, and the casting was just sitting on it for the longest time, and they just recently removed it. You look at it and you're like, oh, it's almost done. It'll be open soon. No. I just don't see it, you know. They still got a lot of work to do in there. I mean, it's just like such a snail's pace right now with the way they're doing it. I guess we could all blame it on bureaucracy, right? Permits and licenses, and I'm sure there's some explanation why this thing has been delayed for so long. Now they've done a lot of work down here. You know, I'm going to show you guys, you know, in a few moments, the new area at Bay 8th Street and the new entrance and exit ramp, which was a big mistake in my personal opinion, and I'll talk about why. But they've been doing a lot of tree planting. Like, these are all new trees. And they're still down here doing all the trees and the groundskeeping and stuff. So they're not done down here. We're about to hit the 1 hour mark on the walk, so Well, I want to thank everybody that has tagged along and is still with us 1 hour into the walk. It's been a while since I mentioned it, so I'll mention it. I'll give everybody a reminder. It is 65, 100% humidity, very foggy out. We've had rain the last couple of days, and we're going to continue to have some more rain today throughout the day. As far as today's date, let me think about it. Monday was the 12th, 13th, 14th. Today is the 15th. It is a Thursday, so it's May 15th, Thursday. We're halfway through the month of May, and we got this person running towards us backwards. Yep. She's going backwards. Now, if you reverse my footage, it's going to look like she's running forwards, right? So. If we were to use a metaphor, I would say she is heading in the wrong direction in life, backwards. You only want to move forwards. All right, I'm going to disconnect my battery pack here. So give me a second here. Let's put stuff in my pockets. All right, there we go. So now I got still over an hour left of battery now again. All right, so let's talk about what they did here. So we'll get up there and look at it, but they created a roundabout up here. There is no longer a dedicated lane each to the westbound and the eastbound on and off ramps, entrance and exit ramps. Everyone has to share. And I'm going to show you when we get up there why that has become a problem and actually caused more accidents. It's caused more accidents, more traffic jams. It's dangerous for people like us getting onto the bike path now. We never had to cross a road. We didn't have to, well, I guess you could say when you come off of the park at Bay 8, you do have to cross over, but that's a way more safer cross than this, because I could tell you that by 3 o'clock, when the traffic is heavy, what we start to have up here is bleed off, where people think that they could beat the slow traffic and they just come racing up the ramp and going down the other side. And if you're trying to cross to go onto the bike path, you could get hit. And I've seen it. Like, maybe one day I'll just put a camera on a tripod and let everybody watch how crazy it gets here by 3 o'clock. I mean, every day at 3 o'clock, it is just a mess over here. But where I'm walking right now used to be one of the ramps to go onto the highway this way. And what they did was they turned it into like this jog-in bike lane to get onto the bike path. There's no more stairs. I'll show you guys where the stairs used to be. And I have a video. I have a walk that I did. I'll throw a link in the description. when I did a walk down here, I used to do walks down here when the stairs used to be. I could see what it used to look like. Stop over here and talk about this roundabout. That's really bad. It causes a lot of problems now. By the way, this is where the stairs used to be, right here. Exactly in this spot right here, right where you are. I used to go down right in between these two trees. Give you guys a look. Remember the stairs used to be right here? It's now just a hill. All right, so let's talk about this roundabout and why it's such a problem. As you can see, the cars come now up Bay 8th Street and they got to go around. But as you can see, they have to share with people coming off of the Parkway over here, which wasn't the case back in the day. So now when the rush hour traffic hits and it gets crowded, it becomes a problem. Here's what I'm talking about. This is people coming up here, and this is the crosswalk, by the way. You can see this one guy going by. You can see a car coming up the road now. Now it doesn't look bad right now, you know, because it's early in the morning. But what happens is this: you get a bunch of traffic that thinks that they could beat out the slow traffic, so they all come rushing up here. So most of this lane is not even traffic that needs to exit. It's people just coming up and going around the roundabout. So what that does is it just jams this whole roundabout up. You have traffic trying to get onto the Parkway, and you have also people that really want to get off the highway stuck mixed in with people just going around in circles. Like that truck just did that. I believe he came, I don't know if he came off, but anyway, later on at like 3-4 o'clock, it gets to a point where, you know, you got a whole line of cars over here, and you get people that just, you know, you get the road rage people, and they just start blowing through stop signs, beeping horns, and because what happens is they come up here thinking that they're going to beat the traffic, and then they realize they get stuck up here. So it's actually not a good move. So if you're a person that does that and you're watching this, which I doubt, but I'm giving you advice, don't do it, because you're gonna get stuck. It's a longer wait, because you have to contend with this traffic, and you also have to contend with the people going back and forth that want to get on the bike path. I've seen people come up and they get stuck for like over 2 minutes. And that's 2 minutes you could have been in traffic even though it was slow, so. Anyway, there's my little rant. I know somebody will pick it apart. There's always a critic. Hey, I'm being a critic right now, right? So now this is what I was telling you about. This is a lot easier to cross because, you know, you can see the traffic coming and it's always spaced out, whereas over there, you know, you may be able to see the traffic on the road, but you know, you can't tell when those people want to just jump through that crosswalk when they're getting itchy to get to where they're going. All right, we've made it all the way back from where we started. We actually started over there, believe it or not, on the other side of the highway, the entrance over there. That's where we started, on that side over there somewhere. Actually, we started on the next block. Now we're back in the general vicinity. of my neighborhood, where I live. We're in Dyker Beach Park here. Been walking for an hour and 10 minutes. And there's our fog check. You can see it's still very foggy out. And it's going to be like this all day, by the way. It's, not going to change. At this point, I have no idea where I'm taking you guys. We're going to just keep walking. I think, you know what I'm going to do? Because it's so early, I'm going to do it. I am hungry. I'm going to get some bagels. So, for me to get bagels, I got to take you guys down to 14th Avenue and 86th Street. So, that's what we're going to do. We're going to keep walking. No, we'll walk down a side street, so we're not always walking in parks and stuff. I mean, kind of break it up a bit, let you guys see some neighborhood streets again. So we will walk down Bay 7th Street. Bay 7th. Now, this is a park I grew up in. If there's one park in most of my life, I would say it's this one. Yes, more than Sunset Park. I know I always talk about Sunset Park, but I have been in this park way more than any other park in the 5 boroughs. This is my park. This is my, I guess you could call this also my backyard. It's in serious need of a renovation. The last renovation that was done here was, I was in junior high school. It looks exactly the same. Now, I remember back when I was a kid, there was nothing down here but weeds, and there was nothing down here. They had one handball court, and that was it. You can see now they have multiple. Those are the same handball courts that they built about 30, 40 years ago, but I remember when it was just one handball court and a whole bunch of weeds. One basketball court. This park over here, I mean, I have so many memories in this park. It looks the same. Nothing's really changed in the park here. It still has the, when they lay that slab, when it says who built it or whatever, it still has Ed Koch's name on it over there. That's how old, that's how long. Ed Koch was the mayor when, kind of crazy. Then, of course, it got renovated, I think, under Giuliani. All right, we've made it to Cropsey Avenue, and we're gonna wait here, and we're gonna cross. There we go. We are going down Bay 7th Street. I have a friend that lives over here on Bay 7th. He also watches the channel from time to time. So he'll see his house on this walk. I'm not going to point it out where. He's somewhere along here, along this route. You're going to watch and he's like, holy crap, there's my house. I had a few friends on Bay 7th growing up. Right across the street from the school on the next block. That was long before they built that second building that's there now, that second part of the school. That used to be the schoolyard. It's hard to, it's still hard to recognize the time because it's so early, but it's not even 7 a.m. yet. It's 20 to 7. It's 6:38 right now. It is still early out. It's like a good walk that's put on at night to put you to sleep. I ain't gonna lie, I mean, I'm sure most people have checked out by now probably, or maybe they're just skipping around the video. We are approaching an hour and 20 minutes of walking. And here's the thing, like, even like this is one of my longer walks in a while. This is not even close to how much I could walk. I could keep going. I mean, from this point, I could take you guys all the way down to Flatbush Avenue, which is another 6 miles. I mean, I could go all day. I'm not even tired. I'm like just waking up. I got a whole day ahead of me. We're about to hit an hour and 20 minutes on the walk. I would imagine there's going to be a little bit of a line in the bagel store at this point. A lot of people going to work, getting their bagels and stuff. I like to get everything bagel. That's what I like. I don't like cream cheese. I know people are probably rolling their eyes. How can you not like cream cheese? But I just haven't put butter on it. That's all. Perfect. They put a lot of butter on it too, so it's not. I never like when you go into a bagel place, you say, yeah, butter with bagel. Sometimes you say toast it, and you eat it, and it's like all dry. And it's like, man, where's the butter? Like I was mentioning earlier, I had a lot of friends that lived over here, right in this spot. It was multiple people that lived next door to each other. And we used to sit here and hang out and look across the schoolyard over to the park, but you can't do that no more. They built this big extension of the school. But at least the one good thing was they kept half of the schoolyard on the other side. So they still have a schoolyard. It's just not, the full schoolyard. Now it's just half of a schoolyard. Most of these schools, they get rid of the schoolyard completely. If you ever notice walking around Brooklyn, they'll put a new building where the old schoolyard used to be, and that's it. I guess they expect the kids to run around in the gym. Some of the schools are putting those rooftop schoolyards. Like my nephew, he's a teacher over here on Bay 14th Street. In that school, they got rid of that schoolyard over on 17th Avenue side, and they put a rooftop schoolyard. We are starting to see more people out. So I'm going to take you guys down. I'm going to go to the bagel store, which is right down here, but I'm not going to take you directly to the bagel store. I'm going to walk around a little bit more here. On Benson Avenue. Walking over to 14th. Got all the ball fields here. This is still Dyker Park. Like, Dyker Park kind of continues on. You got, you know, Dyker Beach Park pretty much goes all the way up from Cropsey. You have the golf course, and then you got all these ball fields down here that go all the way down to 86th Street. So Dyker Beach Park is just one big complex of parks put together. And they are doing a renovation over here. They are redoing some of the ball fields down here. We had our first car horn for the morning. I think that was the first one we heard all morning. Could have tried to get all the way to 7 a.m. before hearing a car horn. I guess not. Got this big cement truck coming over. Look at this. Somebody's getting a new sidewalk. A new sidewalk, a new building, something, foundation. We're gonna go into the park. Now, they just renovated these basketball courts. They just opened them up last fall. So these are all brand new rims, backboards, and asphalt. The park, though, needs a new renovation. It still looks the same. If you remember one of my live streams, I was showing you guys some of my old skateboarding pics when I was a teenager. This is one of the, this was the bench that I was doing a bench slide on right here. It's the same bench, still here. It's still here, man. Everything is the same here. The only thing that has changed has been like the little play areas and the swing set. So the swings used to be over there on 86th Street. The swings are over here now, and they're not anything close to the old swing set. It was a girl that was swinging. We used to stand up on the swings and swing, and one girl, she flew off the swing and landed on 86th Street, and I don't know if she died, but she was severely injured. She fell on her head. And, well, they moved the swings out of this area because of that, and then when they built the swings over here, they made sure that they were smaller. Now, we were just at Bay 8th Street, and I didn't show you guys, but the swings in Bay 8th Street are still the original. So those are dangerous. Those are the long ones. Those are the ones that get you really high. The bocce ball courts are still here, and people still play bocce ball, but it's not like it used to be. Definitely not like it used to be. You could come here and there would be people at this point right now, this early in the morning, already playing. Both bocce courts would be filled up. Not anymore. It's usually just one bocce court now. This is the asphalt field that they redid. Looks like they didn't fix the flood area. That's the area that always floods for the last, I don't know, 40 years. All right, we're going to finally end this walk on the corner of 14th and 86th Street. So I want to thank everybody that stuck around. Even if you skipped around, that's fine. That still helps. I mean, I'd rather you sit and glue your eyeballs to the screen for like over an hour and a half, but trust me, I know we're all human. We all have short attention spans, so. But if you've made it this far, we are about to close out the walk at an hour and a half. And like I said, I could keep going. But I'm hungry, you know, like that's the one thing that's stopping me right now. I'm thinking about those bagels, so. The bagel store over here is really good. So if you're ever interested in some bagels, just stop over here on 14th Avenue next to the pizza place at the bagel shop. Very friendly people. Family owned and operated for many years. They used to be where the bike store used to be before the wok, the old Chinese wok restaurant. See all these people waiting for the bus. Alright guys, we're going to end it here on the corner of 1486. We're finally ending it. So I want to thank everybody that tagged along. And I will catch you all on the next walk. So take care, have a great day, and bye-bye.